What's up guys, it's Zach with Porsche Rally and welcome back to the Porsche Rally YouTube channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the beautiful 2019 Porsche Gt3Rs Generation 2. We will be going over some of the new features as well as some of the similarities from the 2016 Generation 1. We can start right here with the front of the car. A trademark of a Porsche, you have the supersized oval shaped LED headlights. And then one thing that you did not get in the Generation 1 was the air inlets on the carbon fiber hood. You did get the carbon fiber hood, but you did not get these air inlets, and the purpose of these air inlets right here on the hood is for quicker brake cooling. Now, you also will notice, if you actually are lucky enough as we are to be able to see one of these bad boys in person, you would actually notice that the Porsche medallion on the front hood is actually not, it's more of a decal. It's not more of the plaque-like or any type of emblem like that you would normally typically see. It's going to be more of a decal. This ensures that it's as lightweight as possible. Porsche wants to make this car as lightweight, as fast as possible. And as we get to the rear of the car, you will also notice the Gt3Rs is a decal as well, not the typical badging that you would see across the auto industry. As we come to the side of the vehicle here, one of the subtle differences you'll notice in the Generation 2 versus the Generation 1 is the difference in the side vents here. They protrude out a little bit more. It just helps with the overall handling of the turbulent air going down the track, as well as the improved downforce. You have the 20-inch lightweight wheels in the front and the 21-inch wheels in the rear, with the RS initials on the center locking caps on each wheel. And then one nice detail they added to the Generation 2 was the engraved Gt3Rs on each and every single wheel as well. You also have the Gt3Rs decal along the bottom on both sides of the car, common favor amongst a lot of Gt3Rs owners. And then you also have the side vents for better engine cooling and better assistance in keeping true to that 525 horsepower. As we come to the back of the Gt3Rs, you'll notice there's not too many differences, but there are some nice ones and they are a little bit subtle. You have the titanium tailpipes here, the rear diffusers on each side of the tailpipes, as well as the diffuser right here in the back between the taillights. In the previous models, the taillights were a little bit more round. On the 19 Generation 2, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get the more angled, a little bit exotic looking taillights. And then you will also have the strip red LED braking light as well. And then of course, the classic Gt3Rs rear wing. It is wider and taller than in previous models. They keep making it more and more prominent and more aggressive looking in the design of the Gt3Rs. Now, when you come inside the Gt3Rs, you're gonna notice not many differences than its predecessors. You have the Alcantara steering wheel with the yellow 12 o'clock indicator. You also have the Alcantara texture along the side of the doors, the center console with the beautiful Porsche logo, and also along the exterior of the glove box, with also some exposed carbon fiber stripping along the top of the glove box. Alcantara along the top of the transmission shifter, and then you have your controls here and your infotainment system, which is actually a touchscreen right here, easily accessible. You'll notice the first thing you notice when you sit in the Gt3Rs is you're going to notice it's very, very driver oriented, meaning that you're not going to get a whole lot of bells and whistles. You're not going to get a whole lot of buttons to push and technology to play with. You'll notice even as well the gauges, they haven't gone fully digital. It gives you that true driver feel to the car with the RPMs right in the middle, and then right to the left of it you're going to have your miles per hour. awesome thing about the GT3 RS for 2019 is it redlines at 9,000 RPMs. You heard that correctly. Up 200 from the predecessor at 8,800. This redlines at 9,000 RPMs, and with 525 horsepower, that is more than enough. You have the carbon fiber paddle shifters here on either side of the steering wheel, and then you have your lighting controls to the left. And then, as we touched on earlier, with the staying away from the badging of the exterior to save as much weight as possible and make this as much of a track destroyer as possible, you'll notice on the inside, the door handles are not actually handles. They are actually straps that you will pull on and release the door that way. And again, that just saves on weight and everything like that for the vehicle. You have your fire extinguisher option, definitely a must buy for the daredevils behind this vehicle. And then right down here, you're gonna have your hood and your trunk opening controls that you can pull. And then you have your climate control, tuner, media, navigation system, all well within reach and very much accommodating to the driver or the passenger, so the driver can focus on getting this bad boy down the road. In the center console here, you also notice you have your PDK sport mode button, toggle switch, as well as the sport suspension toggle switch, and then the two buttons to turn the ESC off and the ESC, as well as the traction control off simultaneously. More so for your experienced track driver that really wants to be in full control of the experience taking this around the track. On the right side here, you'll notice you have two buttons to work with. You have the button to toggle the opening of the exhaust on and off, as if the exhaust didn't sound heavenly enough. When you open this bad boy up, it sounds just absolutely incredible. And then right below that, you will have the suspension up and down button, just to help you get over those tough angles and everything like that, avoid bottoming out the front of the car. But when it comes down to it, you're not really too worried about the interior of the car. You want to know how it sounds and how it drives. So without further ado, right away when you fire this up, it's impossible not to get excited. It's impossible not to get those butterflies in your stomach. And then when we open up the exhaust, wasn't much difference.
It's because it warmed up. He goes, it wasn't much difference. It was back there though.
Yeah, it was. You see here on the center console, you do have the touchscreen, which is actually kind of unusual in the supercars, but it is very responsive touchscreen, and it is not very far away from the driver. It's very accessible, and it's very accessible for the passenger as well, and very easy and simple to navigate through any radio stations you may want to listen to, as well as switch back and forth between your navigation system. You can go into the search functions here and type in a destination. You can look at the car, look at your trip, your distance, your fuel economy, and your miles per gallon, just things of that nature, all right here in this touchscreen area. And right here, well, we have your climate controls here on either side, as well as the fan control, and then your defrosting for the rear and the windshield right to the left of your transmission. And of course, mounted on the dash, you will see you have the gauge for your track timer, a must-have for anybody serious about their track times and their test runs, and also part of the sports chrono package that Porsche offers. Now again, always keep in mind, this is a track car. So it's meant to be as lightweight as possible, and Porsche stayed true to that with the carbon fiber bucket seating. From first glance, they don't look extremely comfortable, but I gotta tell you, it hugs you very well. It keeps you in place very, very well. And it is a very, very comfortable, lightweight, most importantly, racing seat. Well, here we are, the most exciting part of the GT3RS experience, the most exciting part of any car review, quite honestly, the driving portion. And right away, when you sit behind the wheel of the GT3RS, again, it's such a driver-oriented car. It's so responsive to every single thing you do. And I think that's most evident in the steering. There's no play or no finding out where the steering wheel bites, so to speak, whatsoever. It's quite phenomenal, and it's so intuitive and responsive to what you do. The next thing that, of course, is just impossible to deny is the PDK shifter. Now, yes, this does have the PDK in it, and no, the manual is not an option. That made a lot of Porsche enthusiasts very, very upset, but quite frankly, this, again, remember, this is a track dominating car. That's what Porsche has designed this car to be. Nothing, quite honestly, nothing as far as compared to what I have driven has ever shifted or been as responsive as the PDK gearbox, and it just gets better and better. So you can see why, with what Porsche was trying to accomplish in this car, why they went with the PDK. They didn't give the manual as an option. And then, of course, with the comfort of the steering wheel, the material of the steering wheel, and then the easily accessible all new touchscreen on the radio and everything like that. It's just such a driver-oriented, driver-friendly, aggressive, responsive vehicle, and it's just riveting and exhilarating to drive, whether you're going through a parking lot or on the track, quite frankly. Now, as if it wasn't as aggressive and responsive enough, we can open up the exhaust here. And right away, we just feel the car want to go even more. It's more aggressive, and you can hear just the beautiful, beautiful sound of that 4-liter flat 6-cylinder engine in the GT3RS. So well done by Porsche. Now, if we put it in the PDK Sport mode, oh, right away you hear the exhaust open up once again. And then when we stiffen up the suspension here, what that does is it makes it so much better in handling tight turns at high speeds. Quite frankly, I mean, what more could define a Porsche GT3RS than tight turns at high speeds? And this car delivers that experience more so than any other sports car that is made for the track that you're gonna find. It's really just that simple. That was the goal of Porsche. That was what they wanted to carry out in this car, and they did exactly that and did a fantastic job as well. Now, as you can see in my gauges here, of course I have the RPMs right dead center with the miles per hour on the left, but something really cool on the right is a digital screen that you can toggle through. Right now we're looking at our PSI and all of our tire pressure to monitor while going down the road. We can turn on the Chrono Sport package. As we touched on earlier, the Chrono Sport package was an option for, and a must-have option, quite frankly, for any track enthusiast. And you can track your laps and your data and see where you are in relation to your previous laps and things of that nature. You can measure the G-force of the vehicle going down the road. The performance, the torque at 346 foot-pounds of torque, it's definitely going to be a much more aggressive feel going down the road, and it's something that you can monitor right here on this digital screen. You can check your transmission, your engine temperatures, oil pressure as well, and then right back to the audio. So if you're not a big fan of the touchscreen, or you're just trying to not have your focus deterred from the road too much, you can just have the audio displayed right there. And as we touched on earlier in the review, I gotta be honest, I almost kind of like how they didn't go all the way digital, but they incorporated kind of a digital feel into the dashboard. You know, you'll see some cars like Lamborghinis, for example, that went all digital. I gotta say, I'm kind of a fan that they didn't go completely digital in the dash. They kept that true sports car feel to it, and it just, I don't know, they pulled it off. They did a great job. And as you can see, after the audio display, it also has an integrated digital map that you can see where you are in relative to your destination or anything like that. Kind of a carryover from the navigation system. You can see nearby gas stations, nearby emergency centers, nearby restaurants, anything like that. And you don't have to have your focus completely on the center touch console. It's quite nice. Now, of course, how many times have we touched on it in this review? This is a track dominating car. So for someone who is really just looking for an everyday driver, this may not be your first choice, but I gotta tell you, again, touching on things like the PDK gearbox, how comfortable, yes, it's bucket seating, but just how comfortable and lightweight the carbon fiber bucket seating is, the comfort, excuse me, of the steering wheel, and the responsiveness of it. I gotta say, if you're looking for a car to drive pretty frequently throughout the work week, and you're looking for something that is going to deliver on all of your sports expectations as well, this is really, really something to consider. It's not something that, you know, it necessarily looks obnoxious going down the road. Even with that very, very prominent rear wing, it just fits so well. And regardless of them, even for the 2019 making it a little bit wider and making it a little bit taller, once again, it still is just, you know, it definitely can serve as an everyday sports car if you wanted it to, and if you weren't worried about the mileage. And it can definitely serve as that, you know, Sunday driver out to breakfast or anything like that. It will meet any and all expectations for any sports enthusiast out there looking to bring to life the true meaning of what it feels like to own and drive this beautiful machine. Well guys, there you have it, the 2019 Porsche GT3 RS Generation 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, leave any comments you'd like, and stay tuned for the next Pulse Rally review.